And the fact that an upstanding and righteous gentleman like yourself is in that position with the only thing trying to be righteous in our lane is just more machinations of the devil. You should have a much better backstory when you pick me as an opponent.
You know what, man? I'm glad you at least, addressed it, because
when you talk to him and tell him what the truth is, he won't be able to refute it. I told you earlier, he doesn't know this. How could he know?
A new target in his sights, NFL legend Shannon Sharpe. A brand new lawsuit was just filed in Nevada claiming Sharpe was manipulative and eventually a Jane Doe, with the latest claims allegedly happening as recently as January. We got our hands on the filing, and we're going to break down everything.
Feel better about herself when they come home at night. That's what Shannon needs. You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl. I do. This is your auntie talking to you. Take your old ass and get your old up there that can love you old. You trying to hang out with these young... You can't do it, Shannon. You just can't do it. Dang. When they want you to go for the 4th round, you looking at her... Listen, you want some money to go to Starbucks?
Katt Williams just set the internet ablaze after confirming the allegations against Shannon Sharpe. The timeline is in complete chaos. Shannon has been under intense scrutiny these past few days, and now Katt's remarks have only added more fuel to the fire. Here's what's happening. A few days ago, Shannon was hit with a lawsuit filed by a woman claiming he allegedly assaulted her during their relationship. And from the looks of it, this could be the start of a serious decline for Shannon. He's been working hard to push back against the case, but so far, things aren't looking promising. Now, with Katt Williams stepping in, adding his "I told you so" energy, the pressure has skyrocketed. Reportedly, Katt is even hinting at revealing more damaging information about Shannon, which could make things spiral out of control quickly. Let's break this down. Katt Williams appears to be thoroughly enjoying Shannon's legal troubles, and he's not holding back about it. For a while now, there's been speculation about ongoing tension between Katt and Shannon, especially after that explosive Club Shay Shay interview that went viral. The video became one of the platform's top-performing podcasts. You'd expect them to have built some rapport from that experience, but that's far from the case. In fact, Katt has reportedly told people that Shannon always gave him a strange vibe. Even during the Club Shay Shay interview, Katt's demeanor suggested he wasn't too comfortable with Shannon. Now, with these serious allegations surfacing, Katt seems to believe there might be some truth to them. And that's a serious turn, considering how complex this situation is becoming. If Katt does decide to speak further, the situation could deteriorate rapidly. So what's at the heart of these serious allegations? And where does Katt Williams really stand on it all? Let's dig into the details. The lawsuit was filed by Gabriela Zuniga, who says she began seeing Shannon in 2023 when she was just 19. Shannon was 54 at that time. Right from the start, this raised a lot of concerns. What was he thinking getting involved with someone so much younger? For context, Shannon's youngest child was around 29 or 30 when this reportedly took place, making Gabriela about a decade younger than his own kid. Yes, Gabriela was legally an adult, but the whole situation still feels unsettling and raises serious questions about boundaries. The optics just aren't good. Gabriela brought forth serious accusations in her legal complaint. Initially, she filed under the pseudonym Jane Doe to protect her identity, but Shannon's legal team chose to publicly name her in their response, a move that drew heavy criticism and made people question his intentions. In her lawsuit, Gabriela accused Shannon of being manipulative and controlling. She also alleged that he assaulted her from behind on 2 separate occasions in October 2024 and again in January 2005, despite her pleas for him to stop. The details she shared are deeply troubling, including claims of threats, physical aggression, and Shannon allegedly ignoring her protests while she cried and screamed, according to Gabriela. They first met at a gym in Los Angeles and were in a consensual relationship for about 2 years. But she says things turned toxic quickly. She further alleged that Shannon once threatened her life after she attempted to share her location with friends. It doesn't stop there. Gabriela also claims Shannon secretly recorded their intimate encounters without her consent and later shared those clips with his friends. Seriously, how messy can this get? Still, Shannon wasn't about to let this situation ruin his reputation. He hit back strongly with a detailed statement from his lawyer, aiming to set the record straight. In that statement, Shannon didn't hold back and came with what he claims is proof. He released alleged text messages from Gabriella, and just a heads up, they're extremely explicit. In the texts, Gabriella allegedly wrote things like, "I want you to put a dog collar on my neck and choke me while you're having sex with me." Another message read, "I know you missed this big juicy $25,000 for each cheek, and only if you finish inside me, then you can do whatever you want to me." It escalates from there. She supposedly said, "I want to put my tongue in your hole and then marry you. That's my daddy. I want you to put a big black baby in me. You better want it, because once you do, you're stuck with it for life." Reading those messages is overwhelming, to say the least. Not to get too off topic, but what's with Gabriella's repeated reference to the big black baby? It comes off as uncomfortable, especially considering Gabriella is white. It hints at some possible racial dynamics or fetishization, though that's a deeper issue we won't get into here. Let's just say Shannon may have been involved in some complicated dynamics. Back to the official statement, Shannon's legal team insists this entire lawsuit is nothing more than an attempt to get a large payout. His attorney stated, "This lawsuit filed by Gabriella Zuniga and orchestrated by her attorney, Tony Busby, is a blatant and cynical attempt to shake down Mr. Sharp for millions of dollars in pursuit of a substantial financial settlement." They also accused Gabriella of trying to extort Shannon by using a secretly recorded video of an intimate moment. According to his team, the footage was heavily edited and taken completely out of context, distorting consensual activities to appear as something more sinister. Shannon's response continued with, "The evidence shows this was a consensual, adult relationship that involved role-playing, explicit language, and fantasy scenarios specifically requested by Miss Zuniga." They further claimed she manipulated the video to create a false narrative, making consensual moments appear non-consensual. Shannon firmly denied all claims of coercion or misconduct, particularly the severe allegation of assault, and stated he would not be intimidated by what he views as attempted extortion. He says he's standing firm in his truth and is fully prepared to defend himself in court. He also stated that he's committed to clearing his name through the proper legal process and letting the facts speak for themselves. But it doesn't stop there. Shannon also released a video accusing Gabriella's lawyer, Tony Busby, of attempted blackmail. Yes, that same Tony Busby who previously filed a similar case against Jay-Z. Shannon claimed that Busby was preparing to release edited audio clips meant to make him look bad by presenting things out of context. According to him, Gabriella and Busby are seeking a $50 million payout through the lawsuit. This situation continues to escalate with no signs of slowing down.
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah, I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you did with the shit you did to me.
Okay,
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about, and I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys.
I don't know. Anything I say, you're just gonna like get mad at and you're just gonna hang up on me. So I feel like...
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
What does that even mean?
Nothing yet. You want to be a dick to me now, so.
I don't want to be... Don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm gonna fucking choke the shit out of you when I see you.
I don't...
You know what?
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in it.
Well, it didn't take long for Tony Busby to respond. He came out strong, claiming that Shannon had attempted to pay Gabriella $10 million during mediation to quietly settle the matter before it reached the courts. Busby laid everything out, saying that in early February, his office contacted Mr. Sharp on behalf of Jane Doe to discuss a potential meeting. After several discussions, a mediation was arranged. At that time, Shannon was working with a different legal team. Following over 6 weeks of negotiations, Mr. Sharp allegedly made a significant financial offer to settle the dispute, but Gabriella rejected it and chose to proceed with the lawsuit instead. That's when the situation really began to escalate. Busby also responded strongly to the text messages that Shannon's legal team had released. He stated every message shared by Mr. Sharp's counsel today, allegedly from Jane Doe, was sent before the alleged assaults ever occurred. He accused Shannon of trying to shift public attention away from the actual claims by sharing irrelevant and outdated messages. According to Busby, they are focused on the core issues raised in Gabriella's lawsuit and won't be sidetracked by outside noise, but that wasn't the end of it. Busby also released audio recordings, and some of the content was deeply troubling. In one clip, Shannon could allegedly be heard threatening to choke Gabriella. In another, he reportedly made an inappropriate remark involving a large black man choking a small white woman. These statements raised serious concerns. Following the release of the recordings, Busby commented, "The contents of these clips are not playful. They are disturbing and dangerous." He argued that the audio clearly illustrated how Shannon treated Gabriella and claimed she had to flee from Nevada to get away from him. Gabriella reportedly blocked Shannon on all platforms and cut off all communication. Busby didn't stop there. He continued to press the issue of the alleged $10 million offer. He said, on one hand, Mr. Sharp and his attorneys claim Jane Doe's case has no merit. But on the other hand, they admit Mr. Sharp offered her $10 million in writing to avoid a lawsuit. Busby stated plainly that the offer was real and that Gabriella turned it down, choosing instead to pursue justice through the court system. He also accused Shannon's team of attempting to publicly expose Gabriella and discredit her character, while suggesting that Shannon's camp was coming after him as well. Still, Busby stood firm, stating that they are not intimidated and will not back down under pressure. Meanwhile, Shannon's lawyer responded by calling Gabriella's actions financially motivated. And here's where things get even more complex. Shannon is reportedly on the verge of signing a $100 million media deal. According to his attorney, Gabriella saw a massive payday and saw Shannon as a financial target. The lawsuit was filed just one day before the public announcement that Shannon's Club Shay Shay podcast would be moving to a new network, securing a deal reportedly worth over $100 million after his previous contract with Colin Cowherd's Volume podcast network ended. The timing? Pretty suspicious. Shannon's attorney didn't mince words. She claimed Gabriella knew about the money and saw a clear opportunity. According to her, this is the textbook example of blackmail. The lawyer went on to describe Gabriella as an active OnlyFans creator, saying what she does there is based entirely on role-playing and profiting from men who pay for virtual fantasy experiences. He continued, it's a fact she began charging Mr. Sharp as well. This is who she is, based on documented behavior. She's on OnlyFans making money acting out fantasies. Shannon's team is portraying Gabriella as someone driven by money, framing the lawsuit as just another attempt to capitalize. But Tony Busby didn't hold back either. He warned Mr. Sharp's aggressive tactics will backfire. Miss Doe isn't afraid of the truth. She relies on it. He made it clear they're prepared to present all the evidence in court, where fame and popularity won't be enough to protect Shannon, this entire situation is quickly becoming a tangled mess. And truthfully, public opinion is deeply divided. On one side, many people are casting doubt on Tony Buzbee's credibility. His history with Saw-related lawsuits is questionable. For context, he's the same attorney who filed a case against Jay-Z last year, accusing him of allegedly being involved with a 13-year-old girl at a VMA after-party back in 2000. That case was dismissed quickly. Later, another Jane Doe came forward accusing Buzbee of misleading her. Jay-Z even countersued Buzbee for defamation and attempted extortion. That entire ordeal was chaotic.so now, with Buzbee launching another lawsuit against another high-profile black man. People are wondering if financial extortion is becoming a pattern for him. It's not a good look, but on the other hand, some believe Shannon may not be as clean as he claims. He's had a reputation for being quite sexually adventurous in private. And while there's a clear distinction between being into kinks and committing a crime, the public is beginning to wonder whether the lines may have been blurred in this situation. The audience is split right down the middle, and you know who's allegedly enjoying Shannon's troubles right now: Katt Williams. Honestly, that's not all that surprising when you consider their recent history. Rumors have been circulating that Katt and Shannon have had tension ever since the Club Shay interview aired. Once that podcast blew up online, it sparked all kinds of controversy. Katt caught a lot of heat from black entertainers, especially comedians, after that appearance. You could tell some people were upset. Parts of the interview made Katt look bitter, like he'd been holding in years of resentment. And once he sat down with Shannon, he didn't hold back, no sugarcoating, no soft shots. He called people out directly, and yeah, the internet found it hilarious. But the celebs he criticized, they definitely weren't laughing. Let's be honest, nobody wants their past dragged into the spotlight. But it felt like Katt had been holding onto that clip for years, waiting for just the right moment to release it. And Shannon Sharpe, knowingly or not, made it easy for him. The fallout from that Club Shay interview was immediate and chaotic. Both Shannon and Katt faced major criticism, though Katt took most of the heat. Dave Chappelle was one of the first major names to call them out. He said, "What kind of game is this? He went after black men, but not a word about any white men. None of them operate like that. Katt is incredibly talented, so why is he painting such negative images of us?" Dave continued, hurt people, but I'm someone who's been hurt and never hurt others. Katt does this regularly. He accused both Katt and Shannon of tearing down their own community instead of protecting it. Dave added, "If I told my story, it would break your heart. I lost everything and never once snitched on anyone." And now Katt wants to act like he's the truth teller. He ended his statement with a sharp critique. "I've always supported Katt. But seriously, Dre, what kind of game is it to ruin another man's income? What part of the game is it to expose your own?" Initially, most of the backlash was aimed at Katt Williams. People labeled him bitter, dishonest, and called him a hater for the way he conducted himself during the interview. He was cast as the villain, but then things began to shift. When Monique made her own appearance on Club Shay, the spotlight turned towards Shannon. People noticed that he was the common link in both of these controversial interviews. Many weren't buying that it was just a coincidence. In classic Shay fashion, Shannon tried to shift the blame. He distanced himself from the controversy and made it sound like the chaos was entirely Katt's doing. Shannon portrayed himself as simply a neutral host, saying he was just going along with whatever Katt brought to the table, that he wasn't the one steering the conversation. According to Shannon, Katt was the one stirring things up, and he was just following along. But the audience caught on quickly. They began piecing things together. Reportedly, Shannon had already been feeling frustrated about all the fallout. From his perspective, he was simply doing his job, asking questions and allowing guests to speak freely. He hadn't pushed Katt to reveal anything or make bold claims. So, in Shannon's view, he didn't deserve the backlash. And to be fair, it's understandable. But behind the scenes, sources say Shannon was venting a lot. He felt Katt's explosive interview completely disrupted the tone and reputation of his show. What used to be seen as a credible platform for serious discussions had started to look more like chaos. Shannon was concerned it might hurt his chances of landing high-profile guests in the future, and he blamed Katt for that shift. It got even more complicated when Shannon hinted that Katt may not have been entirely truthful during the interview. Still, he made a point to clarify that Katt had personally assured him everything he planned to say was real. Shannon insisted he never pressured Katt or directed the conversation. Katt ran that interview how he wanted, but Katt didn't take kindly to being thrown under the bus. That move reportedly created serious tension between him and Shannon. To Shannon's credit, his podcast weathered the storm. Club Shay Shay remains successful and has continued pulling solid numbers. Nothing since has gotten as controversial as the Katt Williams episode until now, and if there's one thing that's well known about Katt Williams, it's that he has a long memory and doesn't forget slights easily. So now that Shannon Sharpe is facing these serious SA allegations, it's safe to say Katt isn't feeling too sympathetic. His level of pettiness is legendary. And honestly, he's probably thinking, you've got to tell them no. You got to say no anyway. Let us know what you think about all this. Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to check out the next video.